Welcome to Mindful Chatting, a podcast where therapy meets real life. I'm Kristen, a therapist, business owner, and a lifelong student of what it means to fully show up in our relationships, in our work, and in our healing. Here, we unpack mental health concepts, explore mindfulness tools, and talk through the messy, beautiful, in-between moments that shape us. Whether you're a fellow clinician, a curious listener, or someone navigating your own growth, this space is for you. Let's chat. Hey friend, welcome back to Thoughtful Thursdays on Mindful Chatting. If you're new here, this is our space to kind of slow down and unpack the deeper layers of the human experience, the patterns that come up in therapy and relationships, and in those quiet moments when we finally get honest with ourselves. So grab your tea, your coffee, wrap yourself up in something cozy, and let's take a slow breath. Let's settle in together. Today, I want to talk about accountability and how it's so much more than being right or wrong, because accountability, when it's done well, isn't about guilt. It's about ownership. Ownership of your impact, your choices, and your humanity without shame. So let's get into this. I think accountability often gets tangled up with blame, because when you hear the word and immediately brace for punishment or judgment when you hear the word accountability. But accountability isn't about who caused the pain. I know that kind of sounds weird. It's about who's willing to take ownership of their part in the moment. It's saying, I see what happened. I see how I showed up. I want to do something different. Not from guilt, but from growth. And in healthy relationships and within ourselves, accountability sounds like this. I understand that what I said hurt you, even if it wasn't my intention. I can see how my tone or my timing made that harder to hear. I wasn't aware of that before, but now I am, and I want to adjust. That's ownership, not self-blame, not shame, just awareness paired with compassion. When accountability is present, repair can happen. When that's missing, resentment fills the space instead. It's not about who's right and who's wrong, because even when you're given that information and someone admits that they did something wrong, sometimes can feel empty. And that's where that repair comes in, because not only do you have to take accountability, but you have to think about the impact of the behavior, the thing that happened, so that you can turn to repair it. For any clinicians tuning in, if insurance billing is the part of your practice that drains your soul, Headway will be your best friend. They get you credentialed, send you referrals, manage your billing, submit your claims, all the stuff none of us went to grad school for. It's free to join, and honestly, it's been a huge support for therapists who want to take insurance without drowning in the administration part. My link is in the show notes if you want to check it out. But let's be honest, taking ownership is quite uncomfortable because it touches the places where we feel defective or unworthy. And if we grew up in environments where mistakes led to punishment or emotional withdrawal, we learned that being wrong meant being unsafe. So as adults, we defend, deflect, or rationalize, not because we don't care, but because we're terrified that being accountable will make us unlovable. But here's the truth. Accountability doesn't threaten connection. It actually builds it. It says, I care enough about this relationship to stay present, even when it's hard. So this also brings me into what the difference is between accountability versus defensiveness. So let's talk about it. Defensiveness looks like, that's not what I meant, or you're overreacting, or you're twisting my words. Accountability says, that wasn't my intention, but I can see how it landed that way. Thank you for telling me. I didn't realize that hurt you. One protects the ego, defensiveness, and the other protects the relationship, which is accountability. Here's a quick note for my clinicians listening. If you're looking for a charting and practice management system that doesn't make you want to scream, well, guess what? I use Therapy Notes. It's clean, reliable, HIPAA compliant, and honestly saves me hours every week. You can try it with my link in the show notes. So let's talk about how we can practice accountability without shame. One thing we can do is pause before explaining. When someone brings up a hurt, let's just take a deep breath. If we rush to fix or justify it, we're actually dismissing the emotional experience or the thing that the person is trying to bring up. Same thing with when we're bringing up an emotion. We bring it up and say, like, I'm hurt, but we don't quick to justify or defend it because that diminishes how we're feeling in that moment. The next thing is we want to acknowledge the impact. So you don't have to agree with the interpretation to validate the feeling. That means if someone says you hurt me, you don't have to agree with whether or not they hurt you. Do you just agree with the fact that their experience was hurtful to them? The next is you own your part, even if it's small. Accountability is less about fault and more about awareness. So we bring less fault into who's right and who's wrong, and we think about how we know about this ownership and what awareness does this bring to the total relationship. Lastly, we focus on repair instead of retreat. And repair might sound like, I didn't mean to hurt you, but I can see that I did. And what would help you right now? I'm creating ownership by saying that. I validate the hurt, whether or not I agree with it, but I see how it did. And then I'm asking, what do you need? Instead of retreating or defending or getting defensive. So here's your reminder for this week. Accountability isn't about right or wrong. It's about staying connected in the gray space. It's the ability to say, I can be good and still have caused harm. I can be loving and still have missed the mark. And that's what emotional maturity sounds like, because relationships don't require perfection. They require ownership. Thanks for sitting with me today. If this one stirred something in you, that's okay. It means your body recognizes truth. And as always, let's be gentle with your mind. One more thing before you go, and this helps me personally, staying present and grounded, which we all need, especially when your brain wants to spiral into disconnection. Me too. It's Brain FM. It's musically designed to help ADHD brains, well, really anyone's brain, focus, relax, or sleep, and I use it almost daily. If you want to try it, I've dropped my link in the show notes. And if you're looking for planning tools or ADHD-friendly resources, I'll keep a list of my favorite links in every episode.